Welcome to Saltwater Stories. It's funny, isn't it? It feels like in almost every single one of our chats about the ocean, we sort of bump into this idea of regular folks, people just like you and me, getting involved in figuring out what's going on under the waves.
Yeah, we definitely.
We've hinted at it when we've talked about, following turtles with tiny backpacks or trying to tell one type of seaweed from another. Well, today we thought it was high time we spent our entire time together exploring this fascinating idea, citizen science.
Absolutely. And think of it this way. Marine citizen science is basically when everyone, and I mean everyone, gets a chance to be a scientist and help us understand the ocean better.
Right.
It's like having a giant team of curious explorers all looking at different pieces of the puzzle. And believe it or not, this teamwork can be, well, super powerful. When you're actively involved, suddenly the ocean feels a lot closer, like it's something you're actually connected to.
Exactly. And that's really what makes saltwater stories tick, right? We love mixing the amazing tales the ocean has to tell with the cool, hard facts of science. We want to make learning about this incredible watery world not just something you remember for a test, but something that makes you go, wow, no matter how old you are or, what you already know. And citizen science is just a brilliant way to do that, to get your hands, well, maybe not always wet, but definitely involved in the adventure of discovery.
That's right. And there's a special kind of learning that happens when you're actually out there observing things yourself.
hmm
You know, spotting a weird little creature in a rock pool or keeping track of the different kinds of shells you see on the beach.
Ah,
It sticks in your mind in a way that just reading about it in a book never quite could.
totally.
You become part of the ocean's story.
It's like being a super sleuth for the underwater world. And what's so cool is that citizen science acts like this amazing bridge. It connects the scientists, the folks with all the fancy degrees, with everyone else, people who are bursting with curiosity about the ocean, but maybe haven't had the chance to study it formally.
Yeah, it bridges that gap. And what's fascinating here is how it all fits together. Your simple observations, carefully noted down, they become tiny pieces of a much bigger picture that helps scientists understand what's happening in our oceans.
hmm
It's like this amazing circle. You see something, you tell someone about it. That information helps the experts learn more, and, well, that knowledge helps us protect our amazing marine environments.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking a lot about the ocean and some of the challenges it's facing, but we're going to look at it all through this lens of citizen science. We'll unpack how cool gadgets and apps are helping out, how all the information gets collected, and what happens to it afterwards, and even some of the really important things to think about. So we're being good ocean buddies while we're doing our research.
Yeah.
You know,
The ethical side?
exactly. We'll also touch on how getting more people involved is making a huge difference. And you know what? We'll even share some stories without naming names just yet about regular people who are out there making a real splash in marine research. It's going to be a really interesting exploration.
It really will be.
Yeah.
And when you stop to think about it, this idea of citizen science isn't, um, it's not exactly brand new.
Mm.
Even way before we had all our fancy scientific tools, people who lived near the sea were always watching.
Oh, yeah.
They were always watching what was happening in their local waters. They had their own ways of knowing about the tides, when the fish would show up, and any weird things that happened, knowledge passed down through families for generations.
That's such a good point. It's easy to picture science as something that only happens in a lab with people wearing goggles, but you're right. Right.
For ages and ages, people living by the coast have had this super close relationship with the ocean, and what they noticed was so important for how they lived and what they understood about the natural world. It's like the original version of citizen science, just without the handy apps on our phones.
Exactly. And look how far we've come. Back in the day, studying the ocean was mostly for scientists on big ships or in special research places. But as time went on, and especially with all the amazing technology we have now, we've seen this incredible opening up where more and more people can actually get involved.
And you can really see how technology has totally changed the game. I mean, think about it now. You can have an app right there on your phone that helps you figure out what kind of seaweed you're looking at, or lets you report if you spotted a sea turtle. It's like putting the power to collect information right in our pockets.
What's really neat is how these technological leaps have, well, sped up citizen science. Things like easy-to-use apps, underwater cameras that aren't crazy expensive anymore, and even drones.
Drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, drones have made it so much simpler for people to share valuable information. And often, when communities saw problems happening, like maybe
Mhm.
fewer fish or more pollution, that's what got them motivated to learn more and do something about it. It's like,
Mm.
hey, This is our ocean. We need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's like when you see something not right in your own neighborhood, you're much more likely to want to step in and help. And I bet there have been some really important projects and even some amazing individuals over the years who really championed this idea of getting everyone involved.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
There have been pioneers, scientists, and just plain passionate people
Yeah.
who saw how valuable it could be to have more eyes and ears out there. Their work really paved the way for a lot of the successful citizen science projects we see today.
Hmm.
And it's interesting to think about how people's ideas about contributing to science have changed too. More and more people understand that everyone can play a part, that you don't have to have a fancy degree to help us learn about the world.
And it's not just about gathering information, is it? I mean, being part of citizen science must really change how people think about the ocean in general. It's got to be a huge boost for ocean literacy, for understanding the ocean better.
It really does. When you're actively involved in a project, you're not just hearing facts, you're actually connecting with the marine world.
Hmm?
You start to notice things you might not have before, like the different kinds of birds you see near the water or how much plastic is on the beach.
Right.
And you start to link those everyday observations to bigger things happening in the ocean, like currents or where pollution might be coming from.
It's like suddenly the ocean, which can seem so huge and mysterious, becomes a little more personal and something you can actually, well, understand.
Yeah.
And I bet information that's collected by regular people themselves is super useful for teaching others about the ocean, too. It's real, it's local, and it's something they help to create.
Exactly. And here in Saltwater Stories, we see ourselves as part of that process, taking sometimes complicated science stuff and making it interesting and, easy to understand for everyone.
Yeah.
Citizen science gives us so many fantastic real-life examples that we can use to show how important ocean processes work and why we need to take care of our oceans.
And it all boils down to getting that spark of curiosity going, doesn't it? Getting people hooked so they want to keep learning and become lifelong ocean protectors. It's not just about doing one thing once. It's about building a deeper ongoing connection with the sea.
Precisely. And when people get to do hands-on projects, it's incredibly empowering. It helps communities go from just being worried about the ocean to actually feeling like they can do something about it.
Right, like they have some agency.
Exactly. And it really highlights how important it is for scientists to talk to the public in a way that everyone can understand. And just as importantly, for scientists to listen to what citizen scientists are seeing. It creates this wonderful learning experience for everyone involved.
So how do you actually get people to sign up for these marine research projects? Like, what are some of the ways you get folks involved?
That's a great question. A lot of it is about making opportunities easy to find and get to. Community events and workshops can be fantastic for getting people interested and giving them some basic training.
Okay.
Think about a beach cleanup, where you also count the different kinds of trash you find, or maybe a workshop where you learn how to tell different types of sea turtles apart.
That makes total sense. It's about meeting people where they are and making it fun and interesting. And I bet things like social media and websites have become super helpful for reaching more people these days.
Oh, absolutely. Social media lets projects share what they're trying to do, ask for volunteers, and then show everyone the cool things that citizen scientists are helping to discover.
Yeah.
And we've seen some amazing stories where regular people getting involved has actually led to big scientific discoveries. Maybe someone spots a really rare animal in a place no one expected, or a big effort to count plastic pollution shows us where the worst spots are.
That's so cool. It really shows that when we all work together, we can find out some really important things. But what about people who might think, oh, I don't know enough about science to help? How do you make it easier for them to join in?
That's a really important point. The best citizen science projects make sure that everyone can participate no matter how much science they already know. This often means having really clear instructions, offering different ways to help depending on, how much time people have or what they feel comfortable doing,
Right.
and making sure that the scientists and the volunteers trust each other. It's all about creating a friendly and supportive atmosphere.
So it's not just about giving people a task list, like go collect this data. It's about giving them the help and guidance they need along the way.
Mhm.
And I imagine that things like training sessions and having experienced volunteers maybe help out newcomers are really valuable.
They're essential. These programs give volunteers the knowledge and skills to collect good information and really contribute to the research. And it's not just the scientists teaching. Often, people who live in the local communities have their own special knowledge about the environment that can be super helpful for the research. It really goes both ways.
And I love the idea that just telling stories about the research and the people involved can get more folks interested in helping out.
It totally does. Sharing stories that people can relate to about the research and the volunteers helps to make the science feel more real
Uh-huh.
and shows the impact that everyone's hard work is having. We've seen so many examples where local people getting involved through citizen science has really changed things for the better in their own communities.
Now let's talk about the cool gadgets and tools. What are some of the neat things that citizen scientists are using these days to study the ocean?
Oh, it's a super exciting area. There's been a real boom in technology that's easy for everyone to use, and it's empowering citizen scientists like never before. Think about the apps you can get on your phone that help you identify different kinds of fish, record exactly where you saw something using GPS, and even send photos and videos straight to the scientists. Our phones have basically become powerful science tools.
It's amazing how something we carry around every day can be so helpful for understanding the ocean. And I know things like underwater cameras have gotten much more affordable and easier to use too, which must have opened up a whole new world of underwater observation.
Exactly. And it's not just cameras and apps. We're also seeing things like information from satellites being combined with what citizen scientists see on the ground. Even drones, like I mentioned,
Or the drones.
are being used by trained volunteers to check out coastlines and keep an eye on marine animals in ways that used to be much harder and cost a lot more money.
That sounds like it could give you a really big picture of what's going on. And then there must be special places online where all this information gets collected and organized, right?
Absolutely. There are different websites and online databases, platforms that are specifically designed for citizen science projects. These places make it easy for volunteers to upload what they've seen, share it with the research team and other volunteers, and sometimes even look at the information themselves. The important thing is that these websites are easy to use, so people who aren't tech experts don't feel overwhelmed.
That makes sense. It needs to be simple and easy to find your way around. And it's exciting to think about new technologies we wear, like smartwatches, maybe even playing a role in keeping track of the environment in the future.
We're already seeing some interesting first steps in that direction. And what's so great about citizen science is that the information collected by volunteers can be super helpful for checking and adding to the information that scientists get using more traditional methods. It's like having a much bigger team of observers out there.
And I bet there are lots of people working together on like free software open source stuff to help make these projects happen.
You're right. When software is open source, it means lots of people can use it and work together to make it even better. This is really helpful for citizen science projects because it makes it easier for people to share tools and work together on collecting and looking at data.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen some really successful marine citizen science projects come about thanks to these kinds of technological advancements. And looking ahead, it's fun to imagine what other new technologies might help even more people get involved in study of the ocean.
So once all this information is gathered by citizen scientists, what happens to it? How do the researchers make sure it's good information and actually helpful, reliable?
That's a really important question. We need to make sure that the information from citizen scientists is reliable. So a lot of effort goes into teaching everyone the same way to collect data, standardizing the methods. This often means giving really clear instructions and training volunteers on how to accurately record what they see.
So it's not just about taking a quick picture and sending it in. There's a specific way to do it to make sure the information is actually useful for the science.
Exactly. The training often includes showing people how to correctly identify different marine animals and plants, and giving clear rules on how to write down what they observed, including things like exactly where they were using GPS and what time it was. The digital tools we use often have features built in to help with this, like drop-down menus where you can pick the type of fish you saw, or they automatically record the time and location.
Ah, okay. And I bet there are ways that the scientists then double check the information that comes in from citizen scientists, like a verification step.
Absolutely. Researchers often have ways to verify the information. They might have experts look at the photos or videos submitted, compare the citizen science information to other data sets they know are reliable, or even have scientists go to the same places occasionally to see if they observe the same things.
Okay, so there's a system in place to make sure everything checks out. And with potentially tons of information coming in from all these people, there must be some clever ways to keep it all organized and make sense of it.
Yes, definitely. Keeping track of all this information from many different people requires good computer systems, good data management. Special tools and software help scientists look at all the data and find patterns or trends.
Hmm.
And it's not just about numbers. Sometimes just describing how an animal was acting qualitative data can be super helpful and is often looked at along with the quantitative numbers.
It sounds like the whole process is always getting better, too, with people who are citizen scientists giving feedback on how to make collecting information even easier and more accurate.
That's exactly right. It's really a team effort where everyone's ideas help to make sure the methods are practical and work well in the real world. And in the end, looking closely at all this information from citizen scientists has led to some really important discoveries about how to protect our oceans, showing just how powerful this whole approach can be.
It's so inspiring to hear how regular people are helping to make real scientific discoveries and actually helping to protect our oceans. I'd love to hear some specific examples, maybe, of times when citizen science projects have really made a difference in the marine world.
Oh, there are so many. Um, think about projects where citizen scientists have helped us figure out where invasive species, critters that don't belong are spreading.
Yeah.
That information then helps managers try to remove them or control them.
Okay, yeah.
Or projects where divers and snorkelers keep an eye on coral reefs and tell scientists when they see signs of trouble, like corals losing their color, which is called bleaching. That gives scientists really important, almost real-time information about the health of the reefs.
Wow.
We've even seen cases where years and years of observations by citizen scientists have provided the crucial evidence needed to convince governments to make new laws or create protected areas in the ocean.
Wow, that's real change happening. That's amazing. And I'm sure there's some amazing stories about the citizen scientists themselves who have really gone above and beyond.
Absolutely. You hear about people who, just by being really dedicated to a project, become like local experts on a certain type of fish or a particular habitat. Their passion and hard work can be truly amazing. And sometimes knowledge that people in the community had for generations, traditional ecological knowledge, has actually led to important breakthroughs in what we understand about the ocean, showing just how valuable the insights of citizen scientists can be.
It really shows how powerful it is when professional scientists and community volunteers work together. It's not just one group helping the other. It sounds like a real partnership.
Exactly. And the results in the real world are significant. We've seen information from citizen science lead directly to healthier coral reefs, a better understanding of all the different kinds of life in the ocean, biodiversity, and better ways to manage our ocean resources sustainably.
Yeah.
And it's so important to recognize and celebrate these successes and to tell the stories of the citizen scientists who made them happen. What we learn from these successful projects can then help us make future projects even better for protecting our oceans.
Now, we've already touched on a few areas, but I know citizen science plays a particularly important role in keeping an eye on some really crucial ocean places, like coral reefs. Can you tell us more about that?
It certainly does. Coral reefs are, well, like the rainforests of the sea, right? They're just teeming with life and really important for the health of the ocean overall. And citizen scientists are doing amazing work helping us map and monitor these delicate places. Often they get special training to learn how to identify different types of coral and, crucially, spot when they're stressed, like when they start to turn white from bleaching.
So it's about giving people the knowledge to be able to tell when something isn't quite right on the reef.
Precisely. And with underwater cameras becoming more common and affordable, even just taking photos and videos by people who are diving or snorkeling for fun can give us really important visual information that helps us see how the reefs are changing over time. It's a big team effort involving recreational divers, local communities who depend on the reefs, and scientists all working together.
It sounds like a really collaborative effort, bringing together different skills and ways of looking at things. And I imagine there are specific ways that citizen scientists help to count and identify all the different creatures living on the reef, too.
Yes, there are specific methods, like underwater transects or photo quadrants, that volunteers can learn to assess how many different kinds of animals and plants the biodiversity are living on a reef.
Okay.
And with websites where people can share their observations, this information about reefs can be gathered and looked at from all over the world, giving us a much better, bigger picture idea of how healthy our reefs are globally. We've even had times where citizen scientists have been the first to notice a problem on a reef, like a new disease outbreak, which has allowed scientists to respond quickly and try to help.
That early warning system that citizen scientists provide sounds incredibly valuable. But are there challenges in making sure that everyone is observing and recording things in the same way, especially in different parts of the world with different people involved?
That's a really good point. Making sure everyone is on the same page when they're making observations. Ensuring data consistency can be tricky when you have lots of different people in different places with potentially different levels of experience.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But that's where good training, clear instructions, standardized data sheets, and constant communication between the project coordinators and the volunteers are so important. And in the end, the better information we get about reefs through citizen science helps us create better plans to protect and restore them, making those conservation efforts more focused and effective.
Okay, switching gears a bit. Another amazing part of ocean life is the incredible journeys that whales take. How does citizen science help us understand these huge migrations?
Ugh. Studying whale migrations is another area where citizen science makes a big difference. Just regular people reporting when and where they see whales gives us really important information about where different types of whales are traveling throughout the year. Volunteers can learn how to tell different whale species apart by looking at their size, shape, fin characteristics, and how they act at the surface.
So it's like having a network of watchers up and down the coast or even out on boats, keeping an eye out for whales.
Exactly. And with new technology that makes it easier to record underwater sounds, hydrophones, even people who aren't scientists can help record the songs and calls of whales, which helps us understand their communication and presence.
Oh, cool.
Photos taken by people watching whales from boats or the shore are also super valuable for identifying individual whales, often by unique markings on their tails or fins, and tracking where they go over time. It's called photo identification.
And I know that scientists often use special tags that they put on whales to track them with satellites. How does the information that citizen scientists collect fit in with that more high-tech approach? Is it separate?
That's a great question. The information from citizen scientists often works together with and complements what scientists learn from satellite tags. While the tags can give us very detailed information about where individual whales are going, sometimes for months, citizen sightings can cover a much larger area and potentially a longer time period, helping us fill in the gaps in our knowledge.
Ah,
People living in coastal communities, for instance, play a really important role in reporting whale sightings in their local areas year after year, which helps us get a more complete picture of their long-term migration patterns and habitat use.
and I can see how understanding where these whales go is so important for creating good conservation plans, like maybe adjusting shipping lanes to try to prevent collisions between ships and whales.
Absolutely. And citizen science has also helped us understand the dangers that whales face, like how changes in the climate might be affecting their traditional feeding grounds or migration routes. When people in different countries share their whale sighting information, it gives us a global view of these animals that travel such long distances across borders.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been some wonderful stories where the public's observations have helped scientists discover migration patterns or important feeding areas that they didn't know about before, which has led to important actions to protect these amazing animals.
That's fantastic. Now, shifting to a less happy topic, marine trash, especially those lost or abandoned fishing nets called ghost nets, is such a terrible problem for ocean animals.
Hmm.
How are communities getting involved in tackling this issue through citizen science?
This is a really important and unfortunately growing area for citizen science. Ghost nets and other kinds of marine debris are a huge threat, and citizen scientists are really helping us understand the scale of the problem and deal with it. They help us map where marine litter accumulates by participating in beach cleanups and carefully recording what kinds of trash they find and how much there is.
So it's not just about picking up the trash, which is great in itself, but it's also about collecting valuable information that can help us find the sources and potential solutions.
Exactly. Volunteers can learn how to safely document and sometimes even help remove ghost nets recording where they find them, roughly how big they are, what they're made of, and sadly, if any animals are entangled in them. They often use special apps on their phones to mark these locations with the GPS coordinates, which gives resource managers valuable information about where the problem areas are so they can focus cleanup efforts or prevention strategies.
And community beach cleanups are such a visible and powerful way for people to get involved, aren't they? It's a very real, tangible way to make a difference.
They absolutely are. And the information gathered during these cleanups, often meticulously recorded by citizen scientists, has a real impact. It can help guide local cleanup strategies, influence decisions about waste management policies, and, importantly, make more people aware of just how big of a problem marine pollution is.
Yeah.
We've seen lots of examples where dedicated local action, driven by citizen science data collection during cleanups, has really reduced the amount of marine debris in certain areas over time. These efforts often involve working together with different groups, like local conservation organizations, fishing communities, and government agencies, showing how powerful teamwork can be in tackling this global issue.
Hmm.
And, as always, telling the stories of these cleanup efforts and the data collected helps to highlight the urgency of dealing with marine pollution and inspires more people to get involved in preventing it in the first place.
It's clear that teaching people about the ocean is a huge part of the citizen science movement. What are some of the ways that these projects are used specifically for learning and outreach?
Oh, education and outreach are so important for making marine citizen science successful and ensuring its impact lasts. Many programs are specifically designed to bring citizen science into school classrooms, giving students hands-on learning experiences that connect them directly to studying the ocean in their local area or even globally.
That sounds great for kids.
Yeah. And workshops for the community and talks open to the public also play a vital role in helping people of all ages learn more about the ocean and how they can help monitor its health.
So it's about making science something that everyone can understand and be excited about, not just something confined to university labs or research papers.
Absolutely. Interactive displays at science centers or aquariums and engaging online resources like websites or videos can get people interested in fun ways. And then actually doing things like testing water quality in a local stream that leads to the ocean or identifying different species on the beach introduces them to real scientific methods in an accessible way. Working closely with teachers is key to creating educational materials that are appropriate for different age groups and actually fit with what they're learning in the school curriculum. And as we've talked about quite a bit, telling compelling stories is just such a powerful way to make sometimes complicated science ideas easy to understand, memorable, and relatable.
I can definitely see how that kind of learning by actually participating in the science yourself would have a much bigger and longer lasting impact on understanding the issues and wanting to protect the ocean compared to just reading about it.
It really does. We've seen some amazing stories of young people inspired by a citizen science project who then go on to lead their own projects that have really made a difference in their local communities.
Wow.
Getting kids involved like this helps to cultivate the next generation of ocean stewards, of ocean protectors, and using things like online videos, interactive maps, and even virtual reality is creating new and exciting ways for people to experience marine environments and for projects to reach even more people. It's also really important, though, to think about how to make sure that everyone has the chance to get involved in marine education and citizen science, regardless of their background or where they live. Equity and accessibility are key.
Now, while we've talked about all the amazing things that citizen science can do, it's really important to also think about our responsibilities when we're interacting with the marine environment in this way, the ethical side of things.
That's a really crucial point. We absolutely need to be thoughtful and ethical about how we conduct citizen science research. This includes teaching citizen scientists how to gather and share information responsibly, making sure everyone involved is safe during any field work, whether it's on a boat or walking along a rocky shore.
Right. Safety first.
And it being really clear and transparent about who owns the data collected and giving proper credit where credit is due to the volunteers who collected it.
So it's about doing research in a way that is not only good science, but also respectful of both the people who are generously giving their time and effort, and of course, the ocean environment itself.
Exactly. We need to find a good balance between maintaining scientific rigor, making sure the data is high quality, and making sure that lots of different people with varying levels of expertise can participate meaningfully. We also need to have clear guidelines for how citizen scientists should interact with marine animals, like maintaining a respectful and safe distance, never feeding them, and avoiding disturbing sensitive habitats like coral reefs or nesting bird colonies while they're collecting information.
That makes perfect sense. We want to learn about and protect the ocean, not accidentally cause more harm while we're trying to help. And I imagine there are ways to make sure that the information collected by volunteers is treated fairly and used appropriately.
Yes, as we talked about earlier regarding data quality, verifying the information is crucial, and that process needs to be done fairly and openly. It's also important to think about any potential biases that might creep into the information collected by citizen scientists. Maybe people only record sightings in easily accessible areas, for example. Being aware of those potential biases is important when interpreting the results. In the end, being clear, transparent, and committed to doing things ethically helps to build trust and respect between the scientists, the volunteers, and the communities involved in citizen science.
It sounds like Things like funding and government policies must play a pretty big role in helping these important citizen science projects actually happen and keep going.
They definitely do. Finding enough money to support citizen science projects can often be a significant challenge. Funding can come from a variety of places, like government grants specifically for science or environmental protection, private foundations and charities, corporate sponsorships, and sometimes even individual donations through crowdfunding.
Okay.
Government policies can also really help or hinder these efforts. Policies that actively encourage and support research efforts involving the community, or that make environmental data openly accessible, can be a huge boost.
So it's often a combination of having the financial support and a government or institutional environment that supports these kinds of collaborative projects that helps them succeed.
Precisely. Partnerships between universities, nonprofit environmental groups, government agencies, and citizen groups themselves can also be really helpful in pooling resources, sharing expertise, and securing funding. Having reliable ways to fund these projects over the long term, not just year to year, is especially important for monitoring long-term environmental changes.
Right. You need continuity.
Exactly. And it's worth noting again that the information collected through citizen science can actually influence how we make environmental laws and policies, providing valuable real-world evidence to support protecting our oceans.
That's such a powerful connection where the observations of everyday people can directly lead to changes in how we manage and protect our shared ocean resources. And I imagine there are ways to actively advocate for better policies using the information that citizen scientists have gathered.
Absolutely. Citizen science data can be a really strong tool for making the case for conservation action to policymakers. We've seen examples of projects that have found really creative ways to get funding or build community support, showing just how resourceful and dedicated the citizen science community can be. And the overall way governments structure environmental regulations and support scientific research can really affect how well these citizen science projects can function and contribute. There are always things we're learning and trying to improve when it comes to making sure funding and policy effectively support the most important conservation goals.
It's fascinating to think about citizen science happening literally all over the world. Are there many international projects, and how do different cultures play a role in efforts to protect the ocean?
Oh, yes. Marine citizen science is truly a global effort now. There are many projects happening across different countries, sometimes collaborating internationally, that focus on various ways to monitor and protect the ocean. What's really interesting and increasingly recognized as valuable is how different cultural traditions and local ways of knowing and observing in different parts of the world can actually enhance scientific observations, giving us unique insights into marine ecosystems that might be missed by conventional science alone.
So the knowledge that people have locally may be passed down through generations isn't just helpful in their own area. It can actually add to our overall understanding of the ocean around the world.
Exactly. We've seen wonderful examples from different parts of the world, including from indigenous communities, where traditional ecological knowledge has been respectfully combined with scientific methods to achieve really important conservation goals. It's about valuing different knowledge systems. The way people communicate and tell stories in different languages and cultures is also really important for bridging gaps and working together effectively across diverse communities involved in international projects.
It really highlights how important it is to respect the knowledge, perspectives, and environmental values that different cultures have when we're doing citizen science, especially internationally.
Absolutely. When people from different parts of the world with different backgrounds and viewpoints work together, it enriches the information we gather and how we interpret it, giving us a much more complete and nuanced picture of global ocean issues like climate change or plastic pollution.
Yeah.
While making sure everyone is using comparable methods, data standardization can sometimes be tricky when you have different cultural contexts and languages involved. The value of having these diverse perspectives ultimately leads to more creative, equitable, and ultimately more effective solutions for protecting our shared oceans.
And bringing it all together, we've talked a lot about the science, the data, the tech.
Yeah.
But it seems like the power of storytelling is a thread that runs through all of citizen science, especially in getting more people involved and making the results meaningful.
It truly does. Stories and personal experiences make ocean science something people can connect with emotionally, and they can inspire people to take action in ways that just presenting dry data or statistics often can't.
Right.
sharing stories about citizen science discoveries, about the challenges faced, about the volunteers involved, sharing these through different media like blogs, articles, podcasts like this one, social media, even documentaries, helps to show the amazing work that's happening at the grassroots level and puts a human face on the science. It shows the real people who are making it happen.
It's about making the science feel more human and showing how much of an impact individuals working together can actually have.
Precisely. Storytelling helps us understand the human dimension of scientific research and its real-world effects, making it something we care about more deeply. We've seen so many successful projects that have effectively used storytelling to recruit volunteers, build community support, and communicate their findings to a wider audience. Getting people from the community to be both the researchers and the storytellers, sharing their own experiences and perspectives, can be incredibly powerful. The way we feel and what we learn from well-told ocean stories is undeniable, and there are exciting new ways we can combine art, science, and storytelling, like through data visualizations or interactive exhibits, to help advocate for our oceans even more effectively in the future.
Of course, with any big effort like this, there are always going to be challenges. What are some of the common difficulties that marine citizen science projects tend to face?
There are certainly challenges, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
As we've touched on, making sure the information collected by lots of different volunteers is accurate and consistent. Ensuring data quality and reliability can be tough.
Yeah.
Keeping volunteers motivated and engaged over a long period of time, especially for monitoring projects that require sustained effort, is another common issue. Sometimes there are technical problems with the equipment used or with recording data accurately or with the software platforms used to manage it all. And depending on the project and location, there can be environmental hazards or safety concerns for the people participating in field work, which need to be carefully managed.
Those are all really important things to think about. And I imagine there can be biases in the information collected depending on who is participating and where they are able to make observations, like we mentioned earlier.
Yes, paying attention to those potential biases, spatial bias, temporal bias, participant bias, and identifying any gaps in the information that volunteers collect is really important for interpreting the data correctly. Sometimes, simply finding enough funding and resources to keep projects going long-term can also be a major hurdle.
Right, the sustainability aspect.
And finding that right balance between maintaining scientific rigor and making it accessible and engaging for people who aren't trained scientists is kind of an ongoing challenge that requires constant thought and adaptation. However, having dedicated project coordinators, providing good mentorship, offering ongoing training and support, these are all key strategies for overcoming many of these obstacles. And learning from what has worked well and what hasn't in past projects is absolutely essential for making future citizen science efforts even more effective and impactful.
We've talked a lot about how important it is for citizens and scientists to work together, and it really sounds like those partnerships are absolutely vital for success.
They are fundamental.
Sure.
When scientists and the public truly collaborate as partners, it significantly enhances the credibility, relevance, and overall impact of the information generated through citizen science. When experts from different fields, maybe marine biologists, social scientists, data analysts, educators, team up with community groups, it can lead to more thorough, innovative, and holistic research results. We've seen many examples of really successful collaborations between scientists based at universities or government agencies and local communities, often facilitated by nonprofit organizations or community leaders.
So it's about creating a network where everyone brings their unique knowledge, skills, and passion to the table.
Exactly. Mutual respect and open, honest communication between professional scientists and citizen volunteers are absolutely key ingredients for building strong, trusting, and productive partnerships. When citizens contribute their local knowledge, their time, their observations, often complements the specialized expertise that professional scientists bring, leading to a much richer and more comprehensive understanding of complex marine ecosystems. Online platforms and professional networks that help connect scientists with potential citizen science groups, or vice versa, are becoming increasingly important for fostering these collaborations. Many scientific publications and impactful research projects have come directly out of these partnerships, clearly demonstrating how valuable they are for advancing scientific knowledge. And ultimately, these strong collaborations can have a really significant impact on how we make decisions about managing and protecting our oceans, influencing policy at both local and even global levels. Looking ahead, there are exciting opportunities to expand these partnerships to tackle emerging environmental challenges like the impacts of climate change on fisheries or the deep sea.
It's so inspiring to see how citizen science is constantly growing and changing. Looking forward, what are some of the new things and exciting directions that are on the horizon for using citizen science to protect our oceans?
Oh, the future of marine citizen science looks incredibly exciting. We can definitely expect even more amazing and accessible technologies to come along that will continue to change how we collect information, potentially making it easier, faster, cheaper, and maybe even more accurate. Think about advances in sensors, automated image analysis, or maybe even eDNA sampling kits for citizens.
Wow.
There will probably be new and innovative ways to get volunteers involved and trained, maybe even more opportunities to participate meaningfully online or remotely from anywhere in the world.
That sounds like it could open up even more possibilities for people to contribute no matter where they live or their physical ability.
Absolutely. The potential for using things like artificial intelligence, AI, and
Mm.
machine learning to help us analyze the massive amounts of data often collected by citizen scientists is huge. We might see AI tools that can help automatically identify different species from photos or underwater video, or find subtle patterns in large data sets that humans might miss. Virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, could completely change how we engage people in ocean exploration and learning, allowing them to virtually dive on a coral reef or interact with marine data in immersive ways, potentially fostering a deeper connection and understanding without even leaving their homes.
It's like bringing the ocean, or at least a representation of it, to everyone, no matter where they are.
Precisely. We can also expect to see more integrated environmental monitoring systems that effectively combine data from various sources, satellites, fixed sensors, research vessels, and citizen scientists to give us a more holistic and near real-time picture of ocean health. Government policies that support open data sharing and international collaborations will be crucial for driving these new ideas and making sure that citizen science efforts are strategically focused on the most pressing conservation needs. There will certainly be opportunities for new and creative ways to tell the story of the ocean, combining art and science, maybe through interactive data visualizations or community-based theater.
That sounds cool.
We may also see citizen science groups expanding their focus to study ocean areas that we currently know very little about, like the deep sea or the polar regions, perhaps using new remote technologies. What we've learned from current projects, both successes and failures, will definitely help us design future projects to be even more effective and sustainable. And finding innovative and reliable ways to keep these valuable citizen science efforts going and growing over the long term will remain a key priority.
It's been such an insightful exploration of the whole world of marine citizen science today. Just to wrap things up, what are some of your final thoughts on how truly powerful it is when everyone gets involved in understanding and protecting our oceans?
Well, looking back at how marine citizen science has evolved, from those essential long-term observations by coastal communities centuries ago to the sophisticated tech-enabled global projects we see today, it's said abundantly clear that getting the public actively involved has a truly transformative power for ocean conservation. And then these success stories and the innovative methods we've discussed today really highlight the lasting impact that can be achieved by combining rigorous science with compelling storytelling and broad community engagement. Thoughtful approaches to ethics, technology development, data management, and building strong collaborations are clearly driving significant progress in how we understand, monitor, and ultimately protect our vital marine ecosystems. While there will always be challenges to overcome funding, data quality, volunteer retention, what we learn from tackling those challenges continues to make our collective efforts stronger and more effective. Ongoing education and reaching out to diverse communities remain absolutely vital for building a broad, shared commitment to taking care of our marine environments for the future. The future holds just so much potential for expanding the reach and impact of citizen science, and the continued support through supportive policies and sustainable funding will be crucial for realizing that potential long-term success. Ultimately, I think it's about inspiring everyone, every single person, to feel a sense of connection to and responsibility for safeguarding our incredible oceans for generations to come.
And that's a wonderful thought to end on. It really highlights that each of us, in our own way, has a part to play in the ongoing story of our oceans. And it really makes you think about how your own observations, your own curiosity, could actually contribute to that story, maybe right where you live. Perhaps it's time to check out some of the citizen science opportunities that might be out there in your own community. Thanks so much for joining us today on Saltwater Stories.